What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about KTA today. Keeta, the cheetah. We're talking about you today. You're sitting at about 19.1 cents. I have just sold my Keeta. I sold all of it. I actually just made a post Keeta KTA update. I just sold all of it. Yes, just sold it right here. Why? I'll tell you why. We're going to get into that in a second. Hold on. Let me just adjust things real quick, make sure everything's fine. And make sure you guys can hear me. Yes, you can. Okay, cool. So here we are at about 19.12 cents. If you notice, this last time that we came up into the overbought zone, that was a very phenomenal run. And then as we bounced off the overbought zone, we got a nice run up again. We still moved up a dramatic amount, actually, from this low to high. It doesn't seem that big, but man, that was a 145% move, man. Dramatically decent move there, but lesser nonetheless. It's getting smaller. And then we got overbought here. We bounced off the overbought zone, but we moved sideways, and then we got this even smaller bounce. And it's not complete. Who knows? It could go right through the roof, and I could have sold at a very bad time. It's very possible. But what we also have is some forms of bearish divergence. Now, I will admit this is a bit preemptive, at least on my part. I was not planning on holding this for a long time, though. As you guys know, there was the plan to hold a certain amount throughout the whole cycle, and I kind of said screw it, and I sold all of it anyways. And the main reason for that is I didn't get an opportunity to load up the truck at lower prices, so all I have is the amount that I was supposed to hold for the whole cycle. But things plan, man, or things change. The plan changes sometimes. I am expecting that we go down, even though we don't have confirmed bullish or bearish divergence yet, right? This is double bearish divergence, at least as far as the look goes. High here, lower high here, lower high here. That's two drives of bearish divergence from here. We could go higher. We absolutely could, but with less volume, with a lesser move, I think it's very obvious as to what's about to happen, you guys. I think it really is. We are likely going to go all the way back down to about 11 cents and probably through it. With bearish divergence, for those of you who are unaware, bearish divergence, oftentimes you do pull back at least to the level where the divergence formed. Oftentimes you pull back through it. And how much through it, that's not for me to say. I mean, it could be barely through it. It could be dramatically through it. It depends on a lot of other things besides that. But just for what this 4 hours telling us, we're at least good for a move down to about 11.5 cents. From here, that is not quite a 50% drop, but over a 30% drop. I'm okay with playing with that, right? And again, the amount of money that I'm playing with here, it's very small. If Keeta takes off, that's great. You know, good for Keeta, good for KTA, good for all the people who bought at lower prices and didn't sell. I will wipe away my tears with my gains that I just locked out, or locked in, I should say. And then I'll look somewhere else, right? There's plenty of other cryptos in this wild ecosystem of cryptocurrency. But I have a feeling that we're going to go down. You've been overbought for quite some time on the 4 hour, right? If we look at this thing, I mean, it's like a quarter of your life that you've been overbought. So, and you're only decreasing in volume. So I definitely think that we're probably going to see some downside. 1 hour time frame here, failing to get overbought repeatedly. You got overbought here, but you're failing to get overbought. You're seeing less volume coming in. Yes, this is more volume than what you just had here, but I'm not impressed by this at all. I think that it is going to go lower. I wonder about the 15-minute time frame. You do have double bearish divergence on the 15-minute as well. Not that the 15 minutes pretty damn insignificant, but having bearish divergence here, having bearish divergence on your 4 hour, not being able to get overbought on your 1 hour time frame like this, you're finding support at your 50, but you can see the differences, right? Here you're bouncing right off of it. Here you're bouncing right off of it. Here you're grinding it and you're getting lesser results and you're getting lesser volume. So I think this is just a money grab right here. This is a liquidity grab for anybody that wants to FOMO the top. Please don't be anybody who's FOMOing at the top, even if it goes higher. Even if it does go higher, let's say from here, from a high to a low, we were to go all the way up to 22 cents, maybe even 26 cents, I would still wait until we pulled back to areas. If we were to go up that high, I would bet that we still pull back to areas that are basically right here, and I could just buy back in at the area that I sold for, get a second chance, something like that, or likely it would even go lower than that. But I'd be very surprised. I'd be very, very surprised indeed if it did go too much higher from here. If you're unaware of what KTA is, I really would recommend that you look into it. KTA is a layer 1 blockchain. It's not on any exchanges. And here's the deal. You know, back in the day, and when I say back in the day, man, I mean like 2017, 2018 times. In case you didn't know, I've been in the crypto ecosystem since 2015, but I've been heavily involved since like 2016, 2017 times, right? Since that bull market there, very, very heavily involved. For those of you guys that aren't aware, it used to be a really big deal. The successful coins were the ones that were available on all exchanges, right? If you were available on Coinbase, Binance, and Kraken, or other exchanges like that, KuCoin, that was a big deal. KuCoin used to be a big deal. Just being available on an exchange is a big deal. I think a lot of people are still stuck in that ways. It's kind of an old way of thinking in the crypto space, which is just crazy because it's not that old at all. I think that the best cryptos now are the ones that are not listed on exchanges, right? They now whenever I say best, I mean the best potential, right? The best cryptos clearly in the space are listed on exchanges, but just because you're listed on an exchange, there's a lot of cryptos that they come out once they're first debuting. They and look, we're moving down a little bit here. Whenever they first, oh, and that's not what I wanted to do. Hold on, I want that might not have been the right one actually because I just clicked on the top one. Whenever I need to complete this thought before I forget it though. Whenever they're first debuting, they're just listed on all these big exchanges, and that what that implies is that let's see and see liquidity. That's not the right one. We don't want to use that. We want to use the one that has the most volume, right? That would be this one right here. Yes, I think so. So yeah. So we didn't actually move down, my bad. But we're at a little bit, but nonetheless, a lot of cryptos they have this goal in mind, and the reason why is they don't care. But back in the day, to get listed on an exchange provided legitimacy. It meant that you were a legitimate coin, so people would actually take you more seriously and invest in you in a world of cryptos that weren't that serious. Well, fast forward, there's still a world of cryptos that aren't that serious, but now you've got serious money backing them. They promote their product, they get them listed on the exchanges before they've even existed for a freaking day, and they're listed on all these exchanges. They don't care about growth, right? Whenever you see a coin like that, that's not organic growth. That's not an organic price that they're putting at. That's a price that they've discussed with all these exchanges. It's a money grab. It's a money grab. And if anybody working at an exchange is listening to this, they know exactly what I'm talking about. A crypto exchange. They know exactly what I'm talking about because you have to pay to get listed on these exchanges. Or if you're decentralized and you don't want to pay and the exchange wants you, then they have to buy you. They have to buy and acquire your token in order to list. Even if there is some kind of allocation left over by the team, the exchange will help pump that price up so that whenever they list it, the exchange can make profits off of that coin too, right? Because if the exchange receives coins or they have to buy them, either way that's going to pump the price because the exchange is greedy. They want more money and they're going to get that at higher prices. They're going to have people FOMO in. Exchange buying, what I'm getting to, is some of the most bullish stuff that happens in crypto. It really is. It's one of the most powerful signals. And why am I talking about this? Well, if you type in KTA on TradingView, there's a reason why we're doing it on Dex Screener. There's no KTA at all. KTA is not available on any exchange at all, and it's worth $70 million in market cap, right? And it'll probably come down. I'm assuming this here is probably exchange buying. Which exchange is it? I don't know. It could be MEXC, it could be KuCoin, it could be Kraken, Binance, Crypto.com, Coinbase, Gemini. Name your exchange. It could be any of them. Maybe it's no exchange buying at all. But a lot of people, what they do in this space, at least from a speculator's perspective, from an investor's perspective, what I think they mess up on, and I'll just put my big face on here because I'm talking. What they mess up on is, and maybe not mess up on for themselves, but they mess up for the investors, the things that I have no interest in, is they list their coins on these exchanges for over $500 million, over $1 billion in market cap, billions of dollars in market cap just on day one. And that is clearly a money grab. Whenever you have a coin like this, like KTA, that's being listed on DEXs, it's not available on any exchanges at all, and it's worth millions of dollars to start. That's organic. That gives people like us, speculators, investors, an opportunity to watch this thing grow. Because now, instead of it, and this is, if I was to ever make a crypto, by the way, anybody out there who's making a serious project, maybe not a meme coin or anything like that, you don't want to be listed on an exchange first. I mean, maybe you do. If you're money hungry, you're going to guarantee that you make some money, but you're not going to guarantee your project's success. That's for damn sure. Working your way up to the exchange is the best thing, man, because then you have a story. Then you have a time frame. Then you have before it ever gets listed on the exchange, you have growth and stuff like that going on, right? And if I look like shit, guys, I just woke up. But let's see. KTA, that's one of the more bullish things. If I was to make a crypto, I would not want it listed on an exchange. Maybe have some funds allocated for exchange listing, but I would want it to be, and in this space, you really have to stand out. You really have to be something special to have exchanges take interest in you to acquire your coin without you marketing it to them, because there's all these people are marketing, man. The only way to get on an exchange now, is to have some allocation left on the side to give to them to help promote the project, and just basically pay them to get listed on the exchange. But whenever you're not listed, that's the whole point that I'm trying to say. When you're not listed on an exchange, that gives you a lot of room to grow. Coins that are not listed, it used to be, and this is where I complete the thought, right? Hopefully it's a long thought, but I'm going to complete it. It used to be like this: coins that weren't on exchanges were not legitimate investments, and we didn't know they were legitimate until they got listed on an exchange, and that was a big deal. Now coins listed on exchanges, they can just be random BS crap that goes to zero. They're just money grab schemes. They're not, it does not legitimize them at all. But now it's the opposite. Coins that aren't on exchanges, that work their way up to getting listed on exchanges, even if they don't get listed on exchanges, they can be legitimate, right? Caspa is a very good example of that, right? It didn't get listed on any kind of significant exchange for a while, and yet it was doing so well. It grabbed that attention from people that the exchanges had no choice. Their customers, their clientele wanted CAS. You know what I mean? And that ultimately provided more listings on the exchanges. And I don't know if they had a team that moved some CAS for them or not. You know, as far as I know, CAS was a fair launch, but I know that the team probably bought a lot, and maybe they set some aside for exchange listings. I don't know how it all worked out for that specifically, but I'm going off on this whole tangent here. This point that I'm trying to make is that it's a big deal. This coin, look into it, right? Look into it. Tell me if you like it. You know, read about it. Don't just take my word for it. All I'm talking about is exchange listings. I haven't talked about any other fundamental purposes behind this coin at all. It's a layer 1 blockchain. It's backed by, you know, it's a DAG blockchain. Like Caspa, like a couple of these DAG cryptos that are coming out. But the difference is it started off at a very, and just like Cas, or like a couple of them, honestly. The significant thing here is that it started off at a very low market cap. Low market cap. There's some interesting tidbits and facts about this thing, and I think that it's got a lot of potential. Being at $70 million now, with the potential to go down, that gives us an opportunity to buy. Let's get to the meat of this. Okay, let's talk about where I think this thing's going to go from a price perspective. If we are finding a momentary high, we'll take our low to a high here, and I would assume, let's just make sure that this is on the correct one. Yeah, fibs based on log scale. Okay, just seems so far away, but that's because you just moved up so much. We could move down to 8 cents, man. 8.6 cents. We could, believe it or not, move all the way back down here. And I will hold on. I will be buying back at 10 cents, right? We're at 18.5 cents now. The amount that I sold here, I will be buying back at like 11.5 to 10 cents, even just below 10 cents if that comes up. If we do drop down to this 236, I'm going to buy more than the amount that I just sold, right? I'm going to buy more, not from a KTA standpoint, but from a US dollar standpoint. If we drop down to the 382 or below it, in fact, I wouldn't buy at the 382. I'd wait till we get a little bit below it here at about just below 5 cents. I would really go heavy on this thing, okay? And if by some chance, some miraculous miracle, we get an opportunity to buy at about 2 cents, I will throw a little bit extra on there. The majority of it would be saved for this kind of area here if we ever get down there. If not, again, I'm probably just going to buy minimal amounts between this price here, like this pricing here, and then something that is down at the 236 as well. We don't have to go to the 382. There is a scenario, and oftentimes in very bullish structures where you do hold the 236 as support. If that's going to be the case, we need to bounce off of it like we did here. Okay, we can't. It's not that we can't, but it's less common if you were to wick solidly below it like this, close right at it like this, and then kind of move around. It's less common that you would just continue to grow. This kind of behavior would implicate that we go lower. Okay, so we'll know better how to think of this thing down there. And truthfully, I might actually buy more. I might buy more at this area than I'm letting on, because if we do find immaculate support here, I'll probably just go heavier on this same initial area that I buy some here, and if we get a bounce, I'll buy more on the bounce at higher prices, because sometimes, rarely, not all the time, but like 10% of the time, you do bounce right off the 236, and that's often a good sign that you're going to go to new highs, and this thing could definitely do that. But I am holding out for this 382. I think that we'll interact with that. It's very common on the 382 to go just below it. What is just below it there? Prior areas of resistance right there at about 4.4 cents and lower. I would assume that we do find support somewhere in this area, and then we begin to build something like that. Yeah. I wonder how quick this drop is going to be. I wonder if it's going to be quick. And if we were, let's see, I mean, just from this perspective alone, let's see. Not that diagonal lines really matter. I mean, they kind of do. Sometimes in the beginning, that's all you got. But hey, man, if you drop over the coming day, you drop down like this, that's a nice point of support there, but we need the reaction. We would need the reaction too. So anyways, that's all I got. I really just wanted to come on here and I guess ramble about exchange listings, or at least my thesis behind them. I think if you were to make a crypto and you want it to be a solid crypto and actually not just be a money grab, but you want it to be a name that people start to talk about and are like, what is this coin? Oh, look at how it's doing. Like it's pumped up so much already. You need to start from humble beginnings, not start from $1 billion market cap and then have nobody interested in your crypto at all. And then getting listed on exchanges is a big deal, but use that to your bullish effect. Use that to pump your price. Getting listed on exchanges, you guys, I'm not the only person that knows this. It's one of the most bullish events in crypto. Screw your fundamentals. Get me a listing on an exchange, but you can't have that bullish news if you haven't existed and you just get listed on every exchange right away, right? Like Pudgy Penguins. People wonder why that one sucks. I called it from the freaking top, man, that it was going down. Like Hyperliquid, same thing. There's all these coins. Just name your coin that starts off at $1 billion market cap or higher, $500 million market cap or higher on an exchange. What has it done? What has it done to deserve that kind of market cap? It just came about. What it did was it greased the palms of the right exchange holders. It's just a money grab. It's just a money grab. And there's a lot of people in crypto who don't care about you. They just care about the money anyways. So whenever I see projects like this, it tells me, hey, this is nice. It might be a money grab for them. I'm sure they're making their money too, but they're giving investors an opportunity. They're giving strong hands and people of intrigue and speculators who genuinely would hold, not just for the pump, not just for the hype potential, but because they've gotten in at lower prices. That creates a community, a solid community, and a solid basis for support when the hard times do come. That's my thesis anyways. I've got nothing else for you guys. I'm just talking at this point. So hit the like button, subscribe. We're going down to 11.5 cents or lower, and we're at 18 cents now. I sold at 19 cents, baby, and it's watch it go to like 40 cents from here. It's very possible it could go higher. I'm not saying do what I do, but if it does go higher, I'll just put my money somewhere else. That's fine. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.